good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. And we discuss here on Eye in Las Vegas some of the most interesting things that you've never thought of when it comes to Las Vegas. You think it's sex and gambling. Las Vegas is all about energy and exploration and making a difference in the world. You're going to make a big difference today with a wonderful fellow you're going to meet in just a couple of moments. I want to tell people a couple of things. Whenever I mention the fact that I live right outside of Las Vegas, people open their eyes, lean in, open their ears and say, tell me more, because in the whole world, there are two words that everybody knows, Las Vegas, because it's a place where things are happening. Let me give you an interesting data point. If you take the entire population of New York City and everything around it, the entire population of Chicago and everybody around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everybody around it, add in the entire population of the state of Florida, it doesn't equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a year. 41 plus million people come here in any given year. Why do they come here? Because it's a place of energy, entertainment. It's the entertainment capital of the world. It's becoming a sports capital of the world. And it's also innovative ideas. And we're going to bring to you one of the more interesting, innovative people who is, he and his partner have created something that's helping people fight one of the most ravishing, difficult, and harmful situations that we've experienced throughout all of humanity. And they're called wildfires. I want everybody to say a big hello to Lorne. Lorne, please say hello to 521,911 people around the world.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here today, as a guest of Barry.
Thank you. We are so happy that he's here. So Lorne lives in a place called Manitoba, Canada. So those of you who are geographically challenged, go look it up and do your search, because we have people all over the world, Lorne. People from Baluchistan, Nepal, Congo, Argentina, all around America who don't even know where Manitoba is. It's okay. You live in a small place in the middle of the country, and you and your partner, Rick, have been working in the world of wildfires, not starting them, but reducing their effect, their negative effect. I'm just going to jump right in. I think everybody in the world has heard of the devastating fires that took place in Los Angeles in January of 2025. And it was the latest manifestation of something that, again, has been with humanity since the beginning of time. What do you do with raging fires, whether they're wildfires, forest fires, any kind of fire? What do you do to mitigate the harm that can happen from fires? So let's talk about, first of all, what is the global wildfire crisis? Is it more acute today because of social media and others who know about it faster? Or is there really things have changed over the past 2 or 3 decades?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of, I believe, climate change is real. Whether, the debate is whether or not, we're accelerating it, and, the habits and the things that we're doing on this planet are creating, or adding to climate change. But, I've personally reached out and talked to about 30 countries about our company and our product and how we can help combat these, the global crisis realistically is what it is. From Turkey, for example, in Turkey, what they're doing there is they're actually digging ponds all over the country because it's mountainous and they have very little access to water. So they're digging, like, I think they dug over 5,000 ponds out throughout that country, strategically placed, and they keep them full of water. So if a fire breaks out, they can go and they have access to fight it. And there's other areas, South Africa, there's Australia, man, all of Europe. It really is a global crisis, and the current methods just can't keep up. The fires have gotten bigger, they've gotten stronger, and and they're just they're out of control. They're basically infernos when they get going.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look at the I word, and let's just talk about Turkey for the moment, because I didn't know this. Now, Turkey is a very large country. Again, look it up over your geographically challenged. Large country, as you mentioned, mountainous and such. The ability to dig these ponds, and I presume they're not small ponds. We call them reservoirs, for want of a better term at the moment. In other words,
Yep.
they're a place where water is kept in the event that there will be a fire, and therefore you can find some mechanism to pump the water and the ability to fight a fire. So I'm going to ask something that's almost like a klutzy question. Is water still the best way to fight a fire?
Water is the base of everything to fight fires. So right now the current methods use, you might have seen it on TV, the red slurry coming out of the airplanes. Those are retardants. Retardants are meant to slow down a fire. They are effective, in some aspects, but I think when the fire gets too large, too hot, fires are ranked like a tornado or a hurricane, 1 to 5, right? So when you get past a rank 3 fire, I don't believe that the retardants are efficient in slowing down a fire even anymore. Um, what we have is an actual gel. So basically, what we do is the base of our gel or our fire gel is canola oil, but we can use any kind of a vegetable oil. And then we use surfactants and adhesions, cohesions. There's a whole formula that goes into our product, but it's 100% environmentally friendly. So basically, what it does is it takes water and it thickens it. So we can drop it from aircraft. We've been tested. We can drop it from aircraft at 1% or 2% of our gel concentrate to water. So that basically means if we're using 1% gel, it's 99% water, right? 2%, 98%, and so on and so forth. Um, when it comes to retardants, I believe it's like a 15-to-1 ratio type of a scenario for retardants. So it's 15, let's say 15%, or let's say 15 gallons out of 100 would be retardant, and the rest would be water. So we have a little bit of an advantage there because we make more effective use of the water that's being, in a reservoir or being scooped off a lake or out of a river, however they're getting the water to the fire.
Okay, so let's go back to fundamentals. Water is still the best way to fight a fire. That's number one. Number two, the terrible effect of not having full reservoirs in Los Angeles when the wildfires broke out is really part of the reason for the devastation. In other words, if the reservoirs had been full, which they should have been, I mean, it
Right.
was truly bureaucratic mismanagement bordering on the criminal that didn't enable the firefighting apparatus to fight the fire. Am I right? They didn't have the water. Now, with
Exactly. Yeah.
so you and Rick, or Rick mostly, what is the problem with the retardant? Like you said, okay, a retardant just does that. It retards. It slows down the spread of the fire. It doesn't necessarily put it out. So
Correct.
is something also that's not good about a retardant? Is in any way poisonous or making things worse in the air?
Well, retardants, I guess, have been known to contain some toxins, basically, that are harmful to the environment. I think they have, there's a lawsuit in Montana right now out of Missoula on the environmental aspect of retardants. I think there's been further studies done where, they've found some maybe potential heavy metals. Again, University of Southern California, I believe, did that study, but there's all, retardant. I believe retardant has done, what it should. I think up until now, as far as being, not them, the governments and the bureaucrats, I guess, not utilizing, different technologies. I think every technology has a place. Fire gels, ours or any of the competitors that are on the market, they extinguish fires on contact, right?
Okay, so
So not.
have,
Go ahead.
you have a product, this Firefox gel. And first of all, you're saying there are others, competitors on the marketplace that also have some sort of gel.
Yeah.
Uh, So based on that, because it's an open marketplace, why are retardants still being used when gels are readily available?
Well, I believe it's they got a good monopoly. They got a good handle on the industry. And they've had it for 50 years or more. So, it's like teaching an old dog new tricks, I guess, right? But it's time for change. It really is. The devastations that are happening now. I mean, they're dumping retardants and plane loads of it, and the devastation is still occurring, right? So, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
I'm just a regular person. I'm listening to this and saying, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense. If a retardant does what it's supposed to do, it retards it. And yet a gel, water-based gel, will extinguish the fire. Hey,
Correct.
well, why not A, use both? And
Yeah.
B, I want the extinguishing more than now. By the way, and let's take it on down to the human level. I mean, really human level. When people use a fire extinguisher, let's say in their home, some sort of fire that happens like that, is that mechanism inside the fire extinguisher, is that also like a retardant type of thing? It's a some chemicals and such, or is your gel capable of being put in fire extinguishers even on the individual basis?
Yeah, we've toyed around the idea of putting it in fire extinguishers. The issues we have in certain climates like Canada is the freezing temperatures, right? I mean, if it's outside of a heated zone, it's water basically. Like I said, if it's 1% or 1.5% of our gel, we have to be careful on the environment that it's sitting in. Um, but basically, what happens with gels or water enhancers is what they're specifically called, is if you can move water, we can accurately put gel into the system of the water. So if you're out in the middle of a mountain like Turkey where they have the reservoir, you have a gas powered pump. We have a mechanical pump that goes in line and basically administers the gel as per the water flow. So we get a complete and accurate mix every time that we need to. So and it's very important whether we're doing aerial application, which is a 1 or 2%, or if we're going to do structural protection. So we have home kits available with our partners down in California, actually, that people can spray their homes and protect their homes. If a fire is coming by.
But again, you need
100%
water.
success rate protecting structures with
Okay,
our
but you
product.
still need water. In other words, you had a fire hydrant, you turn it on, open it up, but there's no water coming out. It doesn't help anything, right?
That's true. Yes.
You
You,
still need water. So let me ask you, you mentioned Turkey. Are you actually, is the Turkish government or local governments in Turkey, are they using the Firefox gel?
no, we are in conversations with them. We have been now for about 6 months. They had a change in ministry, so we have to start the conversation over when somebody new comes
Wait
in.
a minute,
So
so there's
um,
bureaucracy everywhere in the world.
yeah, it gets frustrating at points, but I think we're making headway, and we have a representative there that's representing our company and having those discussions with the government in Turkey.
Okay, good. So speaking of representatives, we have people that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. We're going to be right back with more Lorne because it's firefighting. You'll love this. Be right back. Don't go away.
Hey, quick pause. If something you just heard made you stop and think, don't let that moment pass. Because that shift, that awareness, is the doorway to real joy. Barry Shore has put together a free ebook with simple, powerful strategies to help you live in joy every day. Go to barryshore.com and download your free copy now, because one small shift can change everything.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking, because I was looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. We're talking about fighting one of the most damaging aspects of the human condition that's been around since the beginning of time. Fire, wildfires, forest fires, things that really wreak havoc. Now, I will say, and I'm going to ask Lorne, forest fires, at least when I was growing up, maybe still true today, were always seen as something beneficial. In other words, you need to get rid of the undergrowth to be able to have new growth. Now, if you do it in a very smart way, you control and take out the undergrowth and such, and you do it in a very smart, controlled manner, then everything works well even when there is a fire. However, take the case of Los Angeles, where they weren't clearing away the undergrowth and the brush, and that helped ignite the fire, make it even worse. Am I correct on that? That oftentimes fires are not necessarily bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's forest management practices that have been, pushed to the wayside. I guess over the last, let's call it the last century. Really, the indigenous people were the stewards of the land. They used fire as a tool to protect their communities and their villages. And it was a normal thing to do. Like you said, it was used for that very purpose, was for protection. Um, but now, because of mismanagement of forests, I mean, even where I grew up here in Manitoba, we have a lot of forest. There was there was forest management when I was a kid. There was cut lines through the forest where crews were in there, all summer long, clearing out underbrush. And if there was a fire, then you had an access to the forest. Right now, because now you can't access the forest. The only way to do it is through the air. So that's why it's all aerial, right? And obviously, that's costing taxpayers and countries millions and millions and millions of dollars.
It not only
Um,
costs money, it's costing lives because, let's be
Absolutely.
blunt, fire residue gets into people's bodies.
Yep.
So what
Yeah.
is
The particulates. Yeah.
the social impact of fires is tremendous.
Yeah, if you can extinguish fires, like basically with the fire gels or the water enhancers, you're basically coating the fire with a layer of water that doesn't, it takes a while to evaporate. When you're doing a straight water drop, like a water bomber or a straight water drop, 50% of that, if it depends on how big the flame is or how hot the fire is, half of that water evaporates before it hits the fire. So that's why when you use a water enhancer or a fire gel, right, it keeps that water together. Basically, it's like a mucus. It's going all the way down to the fire. It's coating it, putting it out, coating all the fuel behind it, and preventing flare-ups as well.
Okay, Lorne, I am fascinated by everything you're sharing with us. And I trust that people all over the world are leaning in and saying, wait a minute, I'm scratching my head. If this is so obvious and so beneficial, why is it not being used at this very moment by every single firefighting organization anywhere on the planet? What's going on? What am I missing?
Bureaucracy, bureaucracy, and a stronghold on the industry. I think globally right now it's a $20 billion plus industry to fight fires around the world, and it's only going to get worse as the fires get worse. So I think, I don't think the world has a choice but to look at different technologies now, and bring, companies like ours, Firefox Wildfire, into the mix to help start mitigating the effects and reducing, the loss that we're facing, year after year. I mean, it's in the billions. I mean, look what's going on in the Pacific Northwest every year of the United States, right? I mean, last year we got 2023 and 2024. I think we got notes from Europe and the U.S. from certain states and senators saying, "Hey, control your smoke." And that's another thing that we can do with our gels, right? It mitigates the smoke as it puts out the fire.
Oh, I was just going to ask you. So let's talk about Firefox gel. You mentioned you have competitors. Are
Yep.
the are all gels the same? Why is Firefox any better than any other gel?
So Firefox is actually Barricade 2 is the product that we use. It's our partners out of Florida, and their gel is probably the best on the market. My partner Rick Solomon, he has tested them all, and there's a few out there, but none of them compared to what Barricade can do. you can go to their website at Barricade International, and they've got a few videos on there. And like I said, we have home kits, we have aerial application, we can do structural protection, critical asset protection. It's a very versatile product. It's been tested in mines, on forestry decks, and all kinds of different applications.
Okay,
We're
so
actually looking at getting certification for to outside of wildfire fighting. We're actually looking for certification on electric vehicles and electric batteries, the lithium problem. So
thank you.
we can we're looking to get certified to solve that problem as well.
I was just going to ask you, this will work not just on wood producing fires, but also any kind of fire, a lithium battery fire. In other words, I'm thinking about that as I asked you, a fire extinguisher. If you had a fire extinguisher and you had, God forbid, a lithium battery fire, you could take it out and use it, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We've been testing on our own in our shop on some lithium batteries, and we've found some effective results. So now we're taking it to a national level, and we're going to try and get fully certified for use in Canada. And then
So
once we get
again,
that certification, it should follow over to the U.S. and to other parts of the world.
okay, so I'm naive. Ready? I'm naive.
Yep.
Why is this product not in Home Depot or any of these other do-it-yourself places where they sell things to people who really care about their own home and their own environment? And then in America, we have a lot of volunteer fire departments.
Yeah.
Volunteer fire departments, by the way, are percentage-wise greater than established fire departments. So I don't know why this is not in every volunteer fire department.
I guess I would say because the mentality now is when there's a fire coming towards your community or towards your home, it's evacuate, let it burn, and we'll rebuild, right? But I mean, when you look at what happened in Los Angeles, like, wow, that was devastation at a different level.
Yes.
Could that have been prevented? That's a question, for a lot of people to get involved and answer. And
Well, it could
there's
have
a
been
lot of
prevented. Wait a minute, it could have been prevented if the reservoirs had water. It may
it would
not
have
have,
helped to fight the fires. Yes.
it might
Yeah.
not have been completely prevented, but instead of being massive devastation, it would have been mild devastation. I'm just asking a different question. If Firefox is so good, and it's a gel, and it's not this poisonous kind of retardants, I don't know why every volunteer fire department in America and every and do-it-yourself people, homes and such, shouldn't have access to it. It seems like this is a beautiful thing that everybody has to have.
Yeah, it should be in everybody's home, and we're lobbying some of the insurance companies to help homeowners get a break,
Oh, that's
on their
good.
insurance if they have a couple jugs of gel. So basically, you can coat your home. Let's say they're going to evacuate your community. You can coat your home before you leave. Just hook the jug up. It's got a. Wish I had one here for you, but you basically hook it up to your garden hose like you were going to do your weed X, and you can spray the house, or you can put it through your pressure washer and spray down your house and evacuate, and hope it's standing when it comes back, right?
Are you telling me evacuate, everybody leaves, and before you leave, you spray down your house with the gel,
Yeah,
and you come back and all around you houses are burned and yours is still standing? Is that what you're saying?
correct. Yeah, Barricade has a 100% success rate when it comes to structure protection.
You need to make a video about that.
Yeah, yeah. I think we have over the years. It's just it's been a real battle to get to the industry. It really has.
Okay, so again, we're emphasizing two things that are endemic, inherent to the human condition. One is fire, forest fires, wildfires, ruining cities and towns and everywhere since the beginning of time. And the other is a stranglehold called bureaucracy. also part and parcel of the human condition. So you got
Yeah.
two things that are squashing innovation and keeping people from saving their property and such with a simple fix. I mean, I'm just be blunt. This is not AI. This is not, installing new computer systems and investing. You could save a lot people's mind, their home, their fortunes, even with the gel, the Firefox gel. Okay, this is just too much fun. One, this is amazing. Look, I'm hoping people leaning in are going to send me all kinds of notes and say, wait a minute, I need to know more. But everything you want to know about this is going to be in the show notes. So you don't have to write anything down. It's all there. I mean, this is whiz bang. This is a major step forward in helping save lives and property. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I just want to back up a little bit there to the previous comment you had about, the firefighters that put themselves at risk, whether they're fighting a wildfire out in the forest or in the mountains, or if they're fighting a house fire, in the city, in the municipal level. Um, up here in Canada in our cities, and it might even be in the U.S. as well. It seems like they're building the homes closer and closer together, and the homes are built with flammable materials. Vinyl siding, asphalt shingles, you name it, right? Um, Basically, what we're trying to help out with the municipal is that they could have a dedicated gel unit in each city that would go and spray down the two outer houses so that they don't burn while the one in the middle is the culprit, right? So there's that. The other thing that's going on in Canada here, anyways, and in Europe, I know they've already adopted it. Is there's a lot of bans on forever chemicals, the PFAS and the PFOS, which is a lot in these firefighting foams and retardants that are in the market being used today. So I think that's going to open the door for new technologies and innovation to come through and start maybe using products like our fire gel, which, is superior. It really is.
Well, I got to tell you, Lorne, I'm just so happy that you're here with us today, bringing this and informing us. I'm sorry to say these words. We're coming to a close in our time together. I have three quick questions for you. You ready?
Yep,
Number one, will you come back again?
absolutely.
Great. Number two, I think I know the answer. I want you to say it. Lorne, you only have 80 seconds to answer this. What is your most fervent desire?
My biggest desire is just to get this gel out to the world so that we can save people, property, and the planet. That's the most important for us. The rest of it is, the rest of it comes with the business, but ultimately it's about helping people and saving the environment. When you think of a wildfire, people just think of trees that burnt, but when you look at what's in the forest, right? There's wildlife in there. There's medicines in there. There's all kinds of things that we've relied on for centuries to live in this environment and on this planet. So why not try and save it? Because what's
Absolutely. That's what
what's
we
work? Yeah, exactly, and it's what they're doing today. It isn't working, so it's time for
I,
change.
I wholeheartedly agree. Number three, and let me I want to give you a hug in front of
Okay.
525,911 people around the world. Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. Are you ready? One,
Yes.
three. Remember, you're listening to Eye on Las Vegas. We bring you some of the most eye-opening, invaluable things that are going to be good for your life. Thank you, wonderful Lorne. And from Barry and Lorne, we're going to give you a blessing. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Lorne, don't go away.